Hello, fellow booktubers. Today, I am doing the TBR Shame Tag. I'm doing this because I do not know how many books are in my TBR pile, and I'm kind of scared to find out. I don't think it's going to be nearly as much as a lot of the other people here, because I usually don't buy books that I haven't read before. Just because I hate finding out that I spent like $10, $14 on a book that I don't like. So if I do buy a book that I don't read, it's usually from a thrift store, and I generally don't find a whole lot that I want to buy rather than just rent from the library. So this is the main reason why my TBR pile is not going to be as large as a lot of other people's. This tag was started by Sarah Churchill over at her channel. Her video was very fun, and while I will not be climbing ladders to get to books, you will see a part of my library that has not been featured on film before. So, brace yourselves. The Amazing Spider-Man Essentials, Volume 2 and 3. The Book of Lost Tales, Volume 1 by J.R.R. Tolkien. The Great Hunt, The Dragon Reborn, and The Shadow Rising, all by Robert Jordan. I, Robot, The Naked Sun, and The Robots of Dawn by Isaac Asimov. The Viking Claw by Michael Dahl. This is the fourth book of the Finnegan's Wake mysteries, and I would love to devour this book right now, right here, because I've been waiting ages to finish reading this book. I still need book 1 and book 5 before I will allow myself to read the rest of the series, because I've read the first 3 books before, and then I couldn't find the 4th and the 5th books, and I will not put myself through such a very long waiting period to find out how this series ends. So I'm going to wait until I own the entire series, and then I will finally read this book. And just in case you're interested, this is a middle grade mystery series, and yes, it is very, 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 very good. The Hatchling, The Outcast, and The First Collier by Catherine Lasky. This is books 7, 8, and 9 of the Guardians of Gahuli series. I obsessively was reading this series a couple of years ago, but when I get into this prequel phase, I lost all interest, and so I bought these 3 books and I still haven't read them. And you guys probably can't see it on this camera, but this entire bottom shelf is also full, mostly of the Redwall series. And yes, I have read every single one of these Redwall books. The Clue of the Linoleum Lederhosen by M.T. Anderson. Sahara by Clive Cussler. The Arm of the Starfish, An Acceptable Time, A House Like a Lotus, Meet the Austins, Dragons in the Waters, Trouble on a Star and the Young Unicorns, all by Madeline L'Engle. The Rover by Mel Odom. This one still kind of counts. I was reading this book last year for the Booktubeathon, and I got to page 329 out of 505 pages. And then Booktubeathon ended, and I haven't finished this book yet. I'm going to finish it this year at the next Booktubeathon. So, there you go. The Count of Monte Cristo and the Man in the Iron Mask by Alexander Dumas. I know that I said I was going to be reading The Count of Monte Cristo a couple of chapters every week, and so far I have utterly failed. My apologies, and to my eternal shame. Now these next books I'm going to show you are mostly from the book hauls that I've been doing in the last couple of months, so you've probably heard these titles before. The Enchanted Castle by E. Nesbit, Magic or Not by Edward Eager, Tom Sawyer Abroad and Tom Sawyer Detective by Mark Twain, Alcatraz vs. the Evil Librarians by Brandon Sanderson, The Good Thief by Hannah Tinty, The Castle in the Attic by Elizabeth Winthrop, The Killing Floor by Lee Child, The Dream Keeper by Mighty Brooks, The Unwilling by C. David Belt, Midnight Magic by Avi, The Selection by Kiara Cass, Nicholas St. North and The Battle of the Nightmare King by William Joyce. This is part of the series that the movie The Rise of the Guardians is based on, and I don't know, I love that movie, and so I wanted to read the books. Classic Marvel Superheroes by Peter Sanderson. Now, we're gonna move. Okay, so in all honesty, I really don't show off this side of my library and this bookcase because this side of my room really isn't as pretty, so I apologize. This is also the bookshelf where I keep most of the books that I haven't read, so prepare yourself. Boomtown, Chang's Fireworks Factory by no one in particular. Ha, ha, ha. Interworld by Neil Gaiman and Michael Reeves. Stuck Down by Eileen Rosenblum. Sudden Switch and The Stranger in the Mist. These are time twists by Paul McCusker. Dragon's Wild by Robert Asprin. Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey. Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. No, I have never read this book. The Phoenix on the Carpet by E. Nesbit. Call of the Wild and White Fang by Jack London. Captured, A Boy Trapped in the Civil War by Mary Blair Immel. Mars Diaries, Mission 1 by Sigmund Bauer. Why I Left Harry's Hamburgers and Other Stories from Asimov Science Fiction Magazine. This is edited by Sheila Williams and Charles Ardai. Flying Dutch by Tom Holt. The Essential Dickinson, selected by Joyce Carol Oates. James Patterson's When the Wind Blows. King of the Wind by Marguerite Henry. The Black Stallion and Satan. The Black Stallion's Filly. The Black Stallion Mystery. The Black Stallion's Blood Bay Colt. And these are all by Walter Farley. The Young Black Stallion by Walter and Stephen Farley. Bridie of the Grand Canyon by Marguerite Henry. In case you can't tell, I used to be very much a horse girl. And that phase is kind of past, so I don't know when I will ever get around to reading these books, and that's kind of sad. The Mystery of Atlantis by Charles Berlitz. The History of Atlantis by Louis Spence. The Mystery Reader's Walking Guide to England by a bunch of people that I can't read their names of. The Puzzle Palace Inside the National Security Agency, America's Most Secret Intelligence Organization by James Bamford. The Spider-Man Handbook by Seth Graham Smith. Just a word of advice. Don't read this or even skim it until you have read all of the Spider-Man comics, because major spoilers. You people who have seen Spider-Man 2, you know what big major thing happens in there? Yeah, I haven't even seen Spider-Man 2 yet, and I know. I have known for years. Blackguard's Moon by George Brian Polizka. I've tried to read this book, and I haven't gotten through it yet, but I'm probably going to try and read it again sometime. Because it's about pirates. It's got to be good, right? It's about pirates. Alright, I'm going to take the camera off the hook now. So this is the bottom shelf here, and these are all Nancy Drew books, and one little Hardy Boys Mysteries. So I have not read the majority of these Nancy Drew books. For a long time, it was the series that I was mainly reading, and then I just stopped reading it. So there are probably about half of these that I haven't read. Ta-da! So I just remembered that I have like a stash of comic books over here on my nightstand. So let's take a look at those, because I don't think I've read any of them yet. So I've got these two Star Wars books, volumes 3 and 4, that I got in like a package with some toys. The Green Hornet, The Green Hornet, The Green Hornet, volumes 1, 2, 3, 1 of 2 from September, 2 of 2 from September, Tales of the Green Hornet, The New Teen Titans, first collector's item issue, number 1, The New Teen Titans, number 3, number 4, and Adventure Comics. And I lied, I think I may have actually read some of these. I've also got the Marvel Treasury edition of the Fabulous Fantastic Four, and another Marvel Treasury edition of the Fabulous Fantastic Four. And I have dust flying everywhere now because I have not touched these in a very long time. And that is really, really sad, isn't it? It's really sad. I have to read more comic books, guys. I really, really do. Okay, guys, so that is my TBR shame. And you know what? I wasn't even counting. So I will count this video as I edit it, which I hope doesn't take like a really, really long time, and I will put it on the screen right here, so you can know how many books I have not read yet. Now you guys go ahead and feel a little guilt about your TBR shame. How many books do you own that you haven't read? And I'll see you guys next week.